want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of She Be Throwing Down. Yes, this is your girl Sheila. Happy, happy, happy Sunday, you guys. Listen, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Listen, your girl made some homemade crispy chicken tenders, and they are absolutely delicious, you all. I made some home cooked fries. I cut the fries, and I have some pickles on the side, you guys. Pickles with chicken tenders taste absolutely amazing. So listen, I also have me some chilled lemonade. Cheers. I'm gonna start off with my prayer, you guys. I'm about to dive right on in. Put my straw in my drink. Father God, we just thank you for this food, Lord. I pray that you will bless it, make it nutritious for my body. In Jesus' name, I pray, amen. You guys, your girl is going to throw down. Let's see where I'm going to start at, y'all. So I took these and I battered them. Do some barbecue sauce first. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. They are tender too, y'all. I believe that was yours, Blue. I believe that was your piece. Sorry. I have to give my dog her piece. I fried her a piece with no seasoning. Mm. I put some lemon pepper in my on top of my ranch. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday today. Hey everybody, how are you? Guys, it is crispy too. Mm. I think that's about to break. Mm. Woo. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I may not eat ketchup on my fries because I just like that good salted taste on my homemade fries. Mm. Cheers, you guys. I'm drinking lemonade. Mm. You guys got to try chicken tenders with some pickles. Absolutely delicious. You guys a bite. I don't know why my nose feels like it's itching. Yeah, school start back this week. Out here in Texas. Well, that's for the public schools. It could be a couple of schools that had already started. But I found out that they're talking about possibly, that the state may take over the schools that I work at. We have a lot of schools in the district. And I was told that if that happens, they're talking about extending school to like June 30th, a whole extra month. Which means the students won't have but a month off from, just a month off of summer break. Just a month. Now, there are some schools in Texas that I know just happened about a year or two ago. They're on a 4-day schedule. Now, they go to school Monday through Thursday. They have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. I think that is an amazing schedule, you guys. Having a 4-day week of school. A lot of schools are doing that out here in Texas. I know the district that I work for, they haven't adopted that yet, but I'm hoping they will soon. I give it about 2 or 3 years. I feel like once everybody gets on board with something, excuse me, you guys, sorry about that it will cause other schools to get on that schedule, but I think it's wonderful. They were saying that some parents may not like that 4-day thing because of their child care, or can't get their children, no daycare or anything like that. If they, if they did go to work on Friday, if there was no school on, if they had to work on Friday and there was no school on Friday, I guess some people would be concerned about who will watch their kids, their children and stuff like that. But that would be awesome, you guys, to have the whole weekend off. I would rather sacrifice staying at school an extra hour if I could get Friday off and Saturday and Sunday. You guys, that would be awesome. I love it because I feel like everybody needs a break, you guys. Not just the teachers, but the students. Like, You got to give students a break. I noticed that a lot of things are changing in education. A lot of schools are taking away like extra curriculums and like the art or the music departments and things like that. Like they're sacrificing a lot. Recess is being cut down. Like I feel students need a break. That's just my whole philosophy. I don't think students should be in school all day. Like some of these charter schools, this is just my opinion. Some of these charter schools, they start like at 7:30 and they don't get out till like 4:30. I think that is a long time, you guys. Like I think that is insane. Like I don't think keeping a child in school a long time makes them smarter or not. That's just my opinion. I say that because when I moved to Texas, it's a whole different environment. When my daughter was going to Indiana, we were living in Indiana, and even in the some parts in the Midwest, school was from like 7:30 to 2:30. So that was what, about 7 hours? I mean, getting out at 2:30 and to come to Texas, and students were getting out like 3:45, some schools 4:15, 4:30. I was like, oh my God. Like, I just think about by the time the student gets home, and if they're in sports or extracurriculum, they don't have time for their family. Then they got to do homework. It's like they got to come home. They're constantly busy. And I'm not saying they shouldn't get homework. I'm not saying that. But by the time they get home, do their homework, if they're in extra curriculum, it's like you got to hurry and go to bed and get right back up for the next morning. Like, do they have time for their family? That's just my observation since I've been in education. I feel like a lot of these students don't have time to really wind down with their families. Like, and I feel like that when they don't have that time, they're looking for other ways. They're anxious. They're constantly moving, like the attention span. Not just little kids, you guys. I just feel like the older children too. I just remember times we had. I don't even know if they do a lot of school trips anymore. I think that depends on the grade level. But I remember we constantly had trips, educational trips, museums. We were constantly going places. Like so much has changed, you all, in education. A lot has changed, and I feel like a lot of people are now adopting homeschooling. They're homeschooling their children. I know everybody that I've met whose son or daughter was homeschooled, they were always 2 grades higher. I have not met a student yet that was homeschooled and was not advanced. I mean, you just got to take the time and do it. Like, I'm so glad I do not have kids in the, elementary anymore. Like, so much is changing, you guys. So much is being adopted in the schools that you got to teach your children at home. You got to teach them values at home. I feel like school, you can't expect the teacher to do everything, you guys. You cannot. That's just like with church. I feel like with church, it's not the pastor's responsibility to do everything. Church and school should be building on top of what you started at home. This just like before your child starts pre-kindergarten or kindergarten, you should be teaching them the ABCs and certain things at home. You don't wait till they get to school to start doing certain things. That's just part of parenting. Before your child goes to pre-K or kindergarten, you should be putting small things, teaching them educational, getting them educational games and things to help them, reading at night. Repetition is so important. I don't even think parents take their children to the library anymore. I mean, I know we got Google, I know we got the internet, but how many people take their children to the library? Like, some of these students do not know how to go to the library. I mean, they do it at the school, but it's good to go to the library. I remember before internet was out, we had encyclopedias. I remember my parents had the Britannica encyclopedias. You didn't have the internet. When you had to write a paper, you had to grab the encyclopedia, look up, if I did something on Dr. Martin Luther King, I had to look his name up. I got everything I needed out of the encyclopedia. I wanted to do, these young people even know how to look up an encyclopedia. I remember everybody had encyclopedias in their home. You had to search out what you needed. It wasn't a quick tap the phone and you get your answer. No, you had to look up you know, do your research. If they ask you to do a bibliography on someone, you had the encyclopedia. You went to the library. You knew how to look up books. You knew how to get certain files at the library. Like, I don't think they do that anymore, you know? And so, you know, alphabetical order, like you teach your children that. If you don't know, yeah, you know, I've had students that can't look up words in a dictionary, and that's part of alphabets. That's part of looking up the alphabet, you guys. You got to start at home. You gotta teach them at home. You gotta have conversations. I believe some students have speech impairments because they're not being talked to at home. They're being pushed into these tablets. And I'm not saying all students, I'm not saying that. But I believe some students have speech impairments because your parents aren't communicating. They're not having dialogue. They're not allowing the student to have full sentences, a subject and a predicate, allowing them to talk. You cannot keep your children in front of tablets. You cannot keep them in front of a television and to keep them away from you so you don't have to be bothered. You're doing more damage than good for them. That's not helping them. I'm telling you, you gotta set some boundaries on school nights. Yes, when I have a student, especially high schoolers or third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh grader, yes, I want to know, why are you so tired? Now, I can understand if it's medically. If it's medical, like some students may be on medication and it makes them sleepy, but your child should not be tired in school. They need to go to bed at a certain time. I don't care if they're 16 or 17. My daughter was like, you still got me going to bed? Yes, because I need you well rested. But guess what? She complained, but it paid off. It paid off. Full ride scholarships. You know, it paid off. The hard work. You're well rested. You're getting good rest. You got to have breakfast. You got to cook for your kids. You got to have something for them to eat. You cannot have your children coming home and you're not cooking. Like, they've been at school all day. You got to have some snacks at home at least until you get ready to do dinner. I'm trying to help the parents. I'm trying to help you single mothers. You got to have, that's part of showing love. You got to have things ready when they come home. You know, I wanted to do like a video on shopping, you guys, like things that I did. I was married for 7 years. I don't know if I told you guys my testimony. I was married for 7 years, went through a divorce. I was raising 4 children by myself. I didn't have a man helping me. I didn't have a man paying my bills. Like, I worked, did what I needed to do. That's how I ended up in education, because I wanted to be home with my children. I didn't want to be working late jobs and, you know, not knowing what's going on in my home. Yes, that was very important to me. That was very important to me. You know, you got to shop good. You got to keep certain items. You gotta cook healthy for them, because you can't be eating out every day. You can't be going through the drive-through at McDonald's every school night. You got to cook a good meal for your students. You have to. You have to play your part as a parent. You have to, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm trying to help you to have a successful school year. You got to get in your children's business. You got to find out what's going on. You got to find out if they're being bullied. You have to. You got to pay attention to their mannerism. You got to pay attention to the things they're doing at home. Are they isolating themselves? Are they getting angry? Are they snappy? You'll probably be noticed, man, you've been having an attitude lately. They maybe having an attitude because they could be going through something at school. And they don't know how to tell you, and they're afraid. Because, you know, these young people, I'm going to tell y'all something. These young people can be mean, you guys. They can be very mean, bullying on kids, and because they don't look a certain way, they don't dress a certain way. Students can be very mean because they don't have the latest gym shoes. They don't have the, you know, the latest name brand. No, you got to talk to your children. You got to make sure you leave that door of communication. You got to let them know that you're safe to talk to them. They got to be safe with you guys. I'm telling you, they got to feel safe. I don't care if your children come in your room and say something that's going to blow your mind and you like, oh my God. You're going to have some uncomfortable conversations. Better you than somebody else. Better you than them finding out from some other students. Better you telling them about drugs, illegal drugs and substances. They need to hear that from you. No, not when they get in high school. They need to hear it in grade school. They need to hear it in elementary and middle school. Yes, they do. Because there's so much happening out here, you guys. Listen, for you naive parents that think, oh, that won't happen to my child. Oh, they in a lovely home. Listen, I grew my children up in the church, and I'm gonna tell you something. It never crossed my mind that oh they won't do no. They're vaping in schools. They have marijuana. These students are hiding things. I'm telling you, you better talk to your children. You better tell them what's going on. Warn them of things they shouldn't do. They need to hear from you. They got to constantly hear it from you. They have to, you guys. You got high school students. You need to have those talks with them. You need to have those deep conversations about sex and, teen pregnancy. You got to talk about that stuff. You guys got to talk about the consequences of if things like that happen. Listen, I say this in a minute. Hey, I love when girls like boys, and I love when boys like girls. Because I would rather a boy like a girl than a boy like a boy. I would rather a girl like a boy than a young girl to like another girl. Listen, I'm telling you. But you got to teach them how, you can't make a student feel like, that's their body. They need to understand their body is going to have feelings. Their body is going to go through changes. They should be like not knowing about their body. You need to explain those things to them. You got to tell them that's natural that you may like somebody. But you got to teach them how they're not ready for that. You got to focus on school. You can't be like, oh, we're not going to talk about that. You're not supposed to date. Listen, if they're curious about things and they're asking you, don't push it to the side. I'm telling you. There's some things I had to learn as a parent. You just can't tell your child you can't do this. They need to understand why you're saying no to certain things. Why is it important that I wait? Why is it important that I do this or do that? That I should do this or I shouldn't do that? Like, I'm telling you, it will help you. It will help you in the long run. Get involved. School just started. Find out who your students' teachers are. Let them know that you're always available. Give them phone numbers. Listen, you better build their report. If they're giving you their emails to every class, just send a quick email. Hi, how are you? Hi, this is Mrs. Smith. I'm the parent or the mother, father, or the grandmother of Stephen or of Samantha. Just want to let you know it's a pleasure to meet you. My doors are always open. You want to know what's going on. The one thing that I never liked about teachers, and this has happened. I've seen some teachers that didn't do their job, you guys. I do not like when a teacher wait till a student is failing. Like, you got to get in your child's business. If they got a system where you can go and look at their grades, you should know if your child got work missing. You can't do nothing with by the time grades come out, they got a D or F, and you up there cussing the person out. Why my child got a D? Why my child got an F? Why you don't know that? Why you're not in the child's business? Obviously, you're not in your child's business if you didn't know they was getting a D or F. You guys, I'm telling you, it's a whole different ball game. So it was different when I was on the parent side, but now that I'm on the educational side, I can see things from both views. Now I understand. You can't be like cussing the teacher out and why my child, you waited to the end of the semester to get involved with the teacher, and you got the audacity to come to that teacher with your concerns when you had the whole semester. Some parents the whole school year and they weren't doing nothing. You didn't know nothing about what was going on. You didn't even know your child missed a day of school, that your child was not even in the classroom. You don't know how many times I've been in these high schools. I had a young girl come in there late, an hour late. Now, when I moved to Texas, y'all, it was different because my daughter, she was in her sophomore year. So when I came to Texas and went to her high school, they was like really impressed that my daughter was high achieving. They had my daughter in an all senior economics honors class, you guys, all seniors. The first week we got to the school, my daughter got over 100% on the test. Didn't even know what was going on, but they put her in the class. She took the test anyway in economics, got her over 100%. Got the bonus questions right. Listen, they were impressed. Like, I didn't play when it came to that. That was so important to me that my children were in schools that got resources. Yes, I had my children in schools. They weren't always all black. No, I wanted my children. Yes, I've dealt with some situations with teachers that were racist with my children, and I addressed it professionally. Yes, I did. My daughter actually went to a school in Muncie, Indiana. You had to be a junior and senior to go here. You actually stayed on campus. And so I was praying about, should I let my daughter go? Because I never wanted my children to miss out on opportunities. I just did not want to do that. I kept them engaged. If they had gifted programs, robotic classes, I would put them in that kind of stuff over the summer. You didn't see my kids outside playing and getting in trouble. I didn't do that. I kept them involved. I'm gonna tell you something. They say that an idle mind is the devil's playground. Let me tell y'all something. That goes for any of us. An idle mind is the devil's playground. What is that? You don't have no goals. You're not doing nothing with your life. You got to get these children involved. When they get out of school, the YMCA, something. Take them to the gym. Let them play basketball. Listen, they got to relieve this stress, y'all. I believe a lot of these young people are angry and they are stressed. Some of them are dealing with stuff at home that they can't talk about. Some of these young people are dealing with stuff that they having trouble discussing. I really believe that. I try my best to show love to these students. Like, I will go into these schools. Young people will hug me. Oh my God. Hey, how are you? They be so, hey, miss. They say my name. How are you? They hug me. And oh my God, you guys, I will go in some of these schools, these little kids. Sometimes I be feeling like I'm, a little irritated. They be like, oh my God, when you coming back? And I said, God, Blue, stop pawing me. My dog is pawing me to give her some chicken tenders. No, I'm not. I'm going to put you on camera so they can see you. And so I always said, God, I don't care if I got 5 minutes with a student. I let my life impact them some way. Let my life impact them. I believe young people can feel when you're genuine. They can feel when you love them. Even though they know that, hey, I'm firm. They know that I love them. I tell them, listen, your education come first. Like, I don't play around with them students. I treat them as if they were my own, you all. Yeah. Like if I got to pull a young black man to the side and say, you got to do better than this. I say, look, they already see you as a statistic. Yes, I will. If I see a young black boy acting a fool, I will pull him to the side and I say, you got to do better. You got to do better. Do you understand that society is waiting on you to act a fool? Society is waiting on you to be in the streets. Society say you either going to be dead in a casket or in jail. No. You got to make something of yourself. You never know. These young people are not getting encouragement at home. You can't assume they're getting encouragement at home. Some of them are not getting what they need at home. And you got to be patient with these teachers. I'm going to tell you something. You wear many hats as a teacher. You're not just a teacher. Some of these teachers are surrogate mothers. They're surrogate fathers. Sometimes you're a counselor. You got to be there for them. You guys, you wear many hats. A lot of the administrators wear many hats. They wear multiple hats. And you got some of these parents, they come up here, why you doing? They going out. You guys, let me tell y'all something about me. When I got a call about my children, I wasn't going, she lying, and baby, if they called me and said she talked too much, I say, yep, that sure is. Because she do it at home. He do it at home. Some of these parents will know how their kids are. They know how their kids are, and they will argue with the teacher when you know that's how Johnny act at home. You know my boy ain't did that. You just picking on my child. You know Johnny just cussed you out at home. And you gonna sit here and say Johnny don't do that? Johnny and just cuss the teacher out and he disrespect you at home? I would say, yeah, you ain't lying. Okay, let it happen again. Let it happen. Stop defending your child when you know they lying. You gotta tell them they gotta correct the behavior. They gotta correct the behavior because guess what? You want to train them to be productive citizens, on this earth. I try to teach life skills to these young people. Sometimes I have stopped the class and I have my heart to heart. I have nearly sat in classes and cried. They looking like, oh my God, this teacher is crying. Yeah, because I'm talking from my heart. And I'm going to tell you something. Every time I said something, I knew it was the Lord, you guys. God would have me worded in a way where, I won't get in trouble or things like that. Word things in a way where I'm not saying, God or things like that. But they be feeling it. They be feeling what I have to say. I've had students when I got done, say, I needed that. Or I'm going through that right now. I tell the young people, watch who your friends are. Watch who you call your friend. People will set you up. People will set you up. I tell these young people, watch who you following. Watch who your friends are. There's a saying that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. What does that mean? I can tell you what direction you headed in by the company you keep. You hanging around thugs, you hanging around people that telling you to miss class, you hanging around people that's telling you don't go to class, or people that's telling you to disrespect your parents. I tell any student, anybody that's telling you to dishonor your parents, when your parents gave you instructions to do something, not to do something, and they're like, oh, you ain't got to listen to your mama, you ain't got to listen to your daddy, they always strict. I tell them, I tell all the students, anybody that do that to you, they not your friend. They are not your friend if they telling you to go against what your parents say, when you know what your parents is telling you is keeping you on a straight and narrow path. They telling you you don't never get to do nothing. Your parents are always strict. No, you got a parent that loves you. You got a parent that's protecting you. Maybe that young person don't have a parent that's telling them, no, or they probably got a yes, some parent, which is dangerous. Let them do whatever they want to do. They can miss school. They can cut school. You can't pass cutting school. Do you understand the importance of attendance? Your students should not be staying home. You don't know they at home, and no, they cannot pass if they're not going to school. Everybody in my house knew going to school was not an option. Getting your education was not an option. That's nothing to be discussed. That's an automatic. You already know if you're living in my house, you got to get an education. You got to go to school. I can't remember the times my children faked and said, oh, I'm sick and I can't go to school. They didn't play that, y'all. They always went to school. I can count on my fingers the times anybody got sick because they knew they had to go to school. They wanted to go to school. It wasn't no trying to stay home. And I see kids fighting their parents. Oh, I missed the bus. You didn't miss the bus. You tried to miss the bus. You tried. I see students trying to miss the bus. But let me get back on this one girl. Came in my class an hour late. An hour late, y'all. Class is about an hour and 50 minutes in high school. They got 4 classes, depending on what school you go to. So it's like Monday A day, Tuesday B day, Wednesday A day. They switch up on Friday. This girl come to my class an hour late. She like, did you take attendance? I said, I sure did. Took attendance and already took it down. She like, well, can I go? Nope, I'm not changing anything. I asked the young lady, I said, where were you? Because mind you, this is what I didn't get at. This is what I was bringing up and change the subject. I didn't tell you when I moved to Texas, their high schools allow open campus. Now, open campus is when you're able to go to lunch. They can leave the building. I wasn't used to that. Like, do you not understand that was a security issue in the Midwest? No, baby, with all the active, shootings going on, you were not allowed to leave the building. So when I came here, I was like, they can do what? Students going out of multiple doors. I wasn't used to that. Like, you could only access one door. As a matter of fact, if another student was caught opening the door, a side door to let another student in, baby, they would have got suspended. That was a no-no because it was a security issue with all this active stuff going on at these schools. So look, I remember when I first enrolled my daughter, I told the lady, I said, well, how do you guys, what is the accountability of watching these students? I said, okay, they leave to go to lunch. I said, how do you know if a student is safe? How do you know if a student made it back? They was like, well, they'll be in their next class. the teacher take attendance? No, that's not what I'm talking about. That is not what I'm talking about. Because look, if they're able to leave campus, and yeah, they may have a class, but the thing is, you don't know if that student, you going the teacher that they got next may think they absent. They may think they absent, and anything could have happened outside the campus, and by the time everybody realized that something that went wrong, that's probably by the end of the school year. By the time the parent realized they ain't got home, I was really praying then, y'all, because I'm like, this is insane. So look, they were able to carry book bags. I wasn't used to that. You could not have a book bag where I came from. Everybody had lockers. You were not allowed to walk around with book bags. Why? You don't know what these kids carrying in these book bags. You don't know what they got. I remember even with the lockers in the Midwest, every now and then they had the K9 come out. He's sniffing lockers. They had the dog sniffing lockers to make sure because I'm telling y'all, you listen, let me tell y'all, I'm telling you, you better get in your child's business. Get in their business. Don't be sitting there like, oh, Cookie won't do this, and my little June bug, he's sweet, and he'll never. Okay. Get in your child's business. Find out what's going on. Check book bags every now and then. Hey, listen, I did it. Listen, I pay the bills. I would lift up mattresses. Yes, I would. I need to know what's going on in my house. I'm saying that because, let's get back to the girl before I start talking. So the girl comes in an hour late. I said, so where were you? Now, look, I got to set the stage. Let me tell you. So the class that I had was after lunch, okay? We get a 50-minute lunch. The students get a 50-minute lunch. So after lunch was this class. The girl comes an hour late. I'm like, where were you? Oh, we was over by the river. And I'm thinking, I said, ain't no rivers in Texas. So everybody kept telling me, well, here where I'm at, I know there's no rivers like it was in Chicago. We at the lakefront, little side beaches or whatever. And they was like, oh, what she's talking about, there's a little creek. And so they showed me, and I was like, you were there? You know what I told that young lady? She said, no, let me tell you what the young lady said. The reason why she came back, because the friend was like, let's keep walking farther along this creek. But she got nervous because she said it looked like it was a homeless man in a tent. She was like, no, let's go back. So I looked at the young lady. I said, listen, let me ask you a question. I said, what if something would have happened to you? What if something would have happened to you? God forbid, they called your parent and they said, such and such is hurt or in the hospital. Your mother, first thing your mother would have said, no, she's in school. Then they would have had to tell your parent, no, your daughter was not in school. Your daughter didn't return back after lunch. I gave her something to think about. Like, I've seen students jump in other people's cars when they should be coming back. And it's, you guys, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot. That's why I'm telling you. Don't think, I'm telling you, because students are influenced by other students. Some don't allow other people to influence them. It depends on the mindset of that young person. Some don't want to be leaders. They're followers. They want to follow what everybody do just to have a friend, just so they can be liked. I always tell young people, be yourself. Don't do nothing that you don't want to do just for somebody to like you. If they can't accept you for who you are, they're not your friend. They're not. They're not. I remember when I was in high school, a lot of the girls had the coaches and they were bougie. And look, hey, if you can't accept me for who I am, I'm not. That's one thing about me now. You can't box me into no clique. I'm 52 years old, and to this day, you cannot box me in a clique. You can't do me like that. You can't tell me who to like, who not to like. I never like cliques where if they don't like somebody, they tell you not to like them. No, you can't do that to me. I want to be free to like who I want to like, be friends with who I want to be friends with. I've never let people control me like that. Like, I'm my own person. I didn't mind being different. I didn't mind being set apart. I didn't mind that, you guys. And you got to teach the young people that it's okay to be different. You were made unique. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're beautiful. You're handsome. And I tell this to all, especially in high school. You know what I tell them? Because high schoolers think everybody dating. Y'all know how this is when Valentine come. The boy get a one girl. a bear. Then the other girl's feeling sad. I ain't got a boyfriend. Don't nobody like me. You know what I tell the young people? I said, get that out your head, baby. Everybody is not dating. Let me tell you, everybody is not dating. I hate to tell my youngest daughter that. There's nothing wrong with you because you're not dating. You're focused on your education. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I tell them? Baby, it's a whole lot of people out here that's dating, that's giving up stuff too. They're giving up their values. They're giving up their standards just to have a boyfriend. I had a young girl tell me, I thought I had to lay down with a boy for him to like me. I said, oh no, honey. Oh no. You don't know the young people that'll pull you to the side that need mentoring. They need encouragement. They need to let somebody know you're valuable. That's why I always felt I really wish schools could adopt as part of the curriculum character building, things like that. I wish schools could build that into education where young people are learning etiquette. And I know people may say, oh, this started at home, they should learn it at home. Well, look, we need to stop throwing that in people's face. Some things should happen at home. I get that. But in the generation and time we living in, a lot of young people ain't getting that. It may take adults like me, it may take adults like you to pour into some young person that's not your child. That's the thing. You may have to pour into somebody else's child that's not your biological child. You can't say, well, I don't have children. Yeah, but God may use you to pour into another young man or another young woman. God may use you to do that. That's why I say these are our youth. These are our youth. Because yes, if I saw somebody's child right now in harm's way, I'm going to say something. I'm going to step in. I'm not going to say, well, that's not my child, so that ain't none of my business. No, I'm not going to do that. If I see your child in danger, if I see your child going in a direction, I'm going to go over there and tell them, be careful. If I see young people out at night, I'll say, why are you guys out so late? Don't you have school in the morning? Yes, I will do that. I'm the type of parent. Yes, I step in mother mode and I'll say, where's your parent? Why are you out here late at night right now? Shouldn't you be at home? Yes, I'm concerned because somebody could snatch that child, because these are the times we living in. You can't have the attitude, well, that's not my business. Okay. I remember living in Chicago, and there was a lot of people feeling like, oh, let the drama stay in the ghettos and you got people in bougie neighborhoods feeling like, oh, but look at what's happening now. Look how stuff is happening in the bougie areas. Look how people are getting shot up in bougie areas, in the grocery stores, in the Walmarts, in their jobs. Let me tell y'all something. When you have the attitude, oh, that can't happen because we're in the fancy, okay? Don't think nothing can't happen. I'm telling y'all, don't think nothing can't happen. You got bougie people with kids that can do stuff. You got rich people with kids, with children, that's stressed, that feel pressured, and they're doing things. So it ain't about living in the ghetto or your economic status or things like that. Let me tell y'all something. You gotta watch your children. You better stay on your young people. I'm telling you, because the devil is not playing. The devil is not playing, and idle mind is the devil's playground. You don't have nothing productive you're doing. I will see young people and I say, hey, they're seniors. I say, what are your goals? What do you plan on doing after high school? And I say this because, hey, some students don't want to go to college, but I tell them, hey, if you're not going to college, get a trade. Get a trade. Have something under your belt. Even if there ain't something you want to do for the rest of your life, go get a CDL license, do welding, do plumbing. There's so many opportunities you can make money. To have that trade, you have that license under your belt. Hey, you may be doing something else, but you may have that, that CDL under your belt. You can even get a CDL license by driving school buses. For a lot of you all don't know that. Some of these people, they're driving buses, they're taking students to school, and the school trained them how to drive a bus. Now they can take that license and pursue other things. You got to teach these young people about opportunity. I don't like to hear of a young person graduating from high school and they don't have nothing, no goals. They may be working, but I tell them, what if that job go out of business? What if that company goes out of business? I tell them, you can't make it long off a minimum wage. You can't make it long off an hourly wage. What are your plans? I tell them, it's good you're working. That's wonderful. But what are your plans? What do you want to do? Get you a plan. Have some goals. Because guess what? Popeyes go out of business. What you going to do? You need something to fall on. Go get a trade. You know, some young people are tired of school. I noticed that. They do not want to go to college, but encourage them to get a trade. Do something. You know, some of you got some of your dads, your uncles do construction. Start teaching them. Look, you know, some of you parents, you got businesses. Some of you got your own businesses. Some of you mechanics. Start teaching these young men, even some of these women, how to work on cars. Start teaching them, look, just to get that knowledge, because you never know what that skill will take them. Even if they don't ever become a mechanic, they got something to fall back on. You got to train them, you guys. You don't want your children to be lazy, not doing nothing, not working. You know, young men want to go out here, don't want to work and beg. No. What are your plans? What are your goals? Write down the vision. Write down what you want to do. You got to get them involved. You got to start talking to them at a young age about what they want to do. I'm telling you, you have to. You have to. I remember before 9/11, I'm going to say before 9/11, things were a little more linear. You were able to go to schools. I remember when I was coming up, my children were younger. You were able to just go to the school, walk into school. I was standing in the doorway peeping, and some students would be eating. They'd be like, I think your mom at the door. And I move my head. Y'all, I was that parent. I would come up to the school just to see what's going on. I didn't get a call, honey. I would peep up in that school, check every room. I was waiting to catch somebody acting a fool, y'all. I'm telling you. That's the kind of parent I was. When school started, I would buy those little composition books. You know, those little journal books. You can get them at Dollar Tree. They come in different colors, the little journals. I would purposely buy those for my sake. It was the behavior book. I called that the behavior book because every day I wanted the teacher to put a little note how my student was. Were they well behaved? Were they talking? Do they have homework? I want to know, do they have homework? Let me tell you what I feel homework is. I always told my children, homework is not just written work. Homework is studying, reviewing. Homework is not always written work. Homework could be something you're going over. Maybe you can go a chapter ahead of the teacher. So by the time you get to class, hey, you guys did chapter 8 in class, read chapter 9. So when they go over it in class, you'll be like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I know what that meant. Because some students struggle with studying. You could study wrong. You have some young people, they really are studying, but they're studying wrong. You got to teach them good study techniques, highlighting. I tell students now that they got computers, you don't see a lot of note taking. And now think about it. A lot of schools getting away from books. I love books. Like I still love the Bible. I love the hard copy of the Bible. I don't want to pull up the Bible by tablet. I don't want to pull up the Bible by Google. I like the hard copy of my Bible. Even if the cell phones go out, if the computers go out today, I got my Bible. I can read my Bible. But now a lot of schools are getting away from books. I like highlighting in books. I like notating in books. Now these students are turning in their work by email, you guys. I remember we would get our work, the teacher would grade it, they would hand it back. I would keep it in a folder and I could go back to it the following. Like if I go to the next grade, I would review a lot of my papers from 4th grade. If I'm in 5th grade now, I would keep a lot of my work. And a lot of these young people are unable to do that now because of technology. Like, you can't do that, but I always encourage them still. I say, look, take notes. Always take notes in math. That is, you guys, I tell these students this. I say, look, what I'm telling you is not just for this grade. I say, if you listen to me, it will carry you a long way. I promise you, because I was good in math, you guys. I tell all the students, take notes. I don't care if the teacher doesn't tell you to get a notebook. Take good notes. I also tell students, I say, listen, They pay your teacher. If you don't understand, stop, listen. Don't worry about the people in this classroom. Ask the teacher kindly, Mr. and Mrs. Such and Such, can you please repeat yourself? Now, I tell the kids, now, if you in there talking and playing and you expect the teacher to repeat themselves because you playing, they may not do that. But I tell them, I say, listen, if the teacher is going over something and you don't understand, raise your hand. Because you sitting there thinking, oh, they're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to think I'm dumb. No, they're not. They pay your teacher. If you don't understand, you have them explain it, however many ways they got to explain it until it clicks in your head. I'm telling you. I tell them, take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. I said participating in class looks good on your part, especially if the teacher, let's say by the time grades come, you at a B plus A minus. You between a B plus A minus. I said, the teacher would think like this. They always participate and they always come to class. You may be more linked to get that A minus because you participate. You're showing the teacher that you're interested in the class, you're involved, you do your work, you're trying. So I tell them, if you don't understand, raise your hand, because 9 times out of 10, the question that you think is dumb and stupid, somebody else really want to know, but everybody like, I don't want to raise my hand. I got to pretend like I know. Baby, you ain't got time to be pretending. I tell the students, get all you can. They say, there's a saying that says, get all you can and can all you get. That's like all that information, you putting it in a can and you're canning it up. Get all you can. Like right before the school year ended, if I was in a classroom and they were, if I walked into a class or I walked past, I would actually go into class and say, I know y'all ain't having this teacher go through this. That's the kind of teacher I am. I will stop what I'm doing and say, I'll walk into class and say, I know y'all ain't acting like this with this teacher. You guys got 4 weeks of class left. 4 weeks of school left. This gonna be the last year you see this teacher. You better get all you can. Because you know what I tell them? I tell them the reality. You're gonna get to the next grade. What's gonna happen is they're gonna do review. They're gonna do a little review of the class, the grade you just got out of, so the teacher can see where everybody at academically while you sitting there playing. And I tell a lot of students, it ain't that you don't know what you're doing. Some of y'all playing too much. While you was playing, you missed something important just by playing. Like, I tell a student, you got to learn how to be a leader and say, don't talk to me right now. Like, I'm trying to listen to the teacher. That's the kind of student I was. Like, I tell them, look, after school, we can talk. But right now, I didn't let people interfere with my education. Like, because my parents didn't play y'all. Like, getting bad grades was not an option in my house. You could not, listen, I think all my children, because they all are smart. Like, they all did well in school. Like, they were all smart. Only thing with me growing up, I used to get a lot of check marks. I talked a lot. As you can see, I was a talker, y'all. I talked in class. I was the one trying to keep people laughing and stuff like that. So I had a lot of talk, check marks, good grades, talk too much. That was my gift. And so, yes, please, you guys, have that talk. Sit down with your student. Tell them what you expect of them. Ask your student, what are you going to do better this year? Even if they may not even be a bad student, but just still challenge your children and ask them, whatever grade they're in, what are you going to do different this year? What are your goals? What do you want to do different this year that you didn't do last year? Right? Because you got some students, they're good in certain subjects, but they struggle in one. They may struggle. Maybe you want to get some tutoring. Get some tutoring for your student. There's nothing wrong with that, because every parent is not in a position where they can help their student. Like, I was in a position where I could help my student. I knew it, I knew a lot of the work they were doing, but every parent is not in that position. Get help for your student. Now you can Google stuff. You can actually Google how to do Pythagorean theorems, and you can Google now, what is an atom? Why does gravity do this? You can Google everything now and learn. They will show you how to do algebra on YouTube. They will show you on YouTube how to multiply. Like, you guys, there's so many resources out here for your child to get help. Listen, I hope you guys are doing well. How are you guys? Everybody been telling me I look like Rihanna mama. Let me say hey to you guys. Some of you all know, and I don't say much because I can't see. Hey, Kathy, I made Kathy a moderator. How are you? It was not. I've always easily distracted by others. That's why I'm still here. I was always easily distracted by others. That's why I'm still here. How are you? I believe that's, I feel like getting my glasses, y'all. I should get my glasses. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me get my glasses. Let me get my glasses. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get my glasses. I feel to get my glasses. We should let them see you, Blue, because you're just as cute as you want to be. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. There are overcomplicated simple words. Oh. That's why it's so important, you guys. Listen. Read a book. I don't care if it's the Bible. You know, when I was growing up, my mother used to make me read the newspaper to her. I used to get so irritated, but not understanding that was helping me with repetition. SW11 _ Kindle. God bless you. Kathy, how are you? She's counting in 10s, 20s, and 50s. My daughter does math at home. We count the cash out, the stolen cash machines together. I don't know if I read that right, but I like watching. Steve Bonio. I don't know what you meant by that, but I don't know. I think some of y'all be trying to, you know, I don't play around with the devil, y'all. I think sometimes y'all think y'all comments. I'm just going to pray for you. I'm just going to pray for you. I tell my daughter, don't do it. Learn at school. This is your time. Do it in either time. I don't consider homework parent work. I think homework is good for repetition because when you're learning in class, everything is fresh. Like you feel like I know it, I got this together. But in the next 2 hours, you can actually forget what you just learned. So I believe I believe homework is needed, but I don't think a student should be overwhelmed with homework. Homework that will have them, you know, now of course every grade level is different. You know, when you get to high school and college, I don't think homework for elementary, middle school should have you up to 10, 11 at night. Now, if you're doing a special project, which is what, normally one time out the year, that's different. But I believe homework is important. Maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, you know what I mean? But nothing that's taking up the family time. Yeah, you need homework. I believe that. Hey, how are you? This is so true. I just subscribed. The I Don't Know YouTuber. How are you? Thank you so much. I want to welcome you to She Be Throwing Down. I'm so honored and blessed that you took the time to subscribe to this channel. I truly appreciate it, and I hope you are enjoying this channel. Oh, this is definitely pre-recorded. I'm leaving. I'm laughing, you guys. This is live. Get on the school council. Watch your children. Keep them away from the devil. You got that right. I think that reads poison. I see the letters poisoning. How are you? Maybe it may be something you may need to hear. You look like Candace Owens. She's hot. How are you, Lou? Pepper, Peter Meat. Blue. Blue. You know, you don't hear nothing. Martin Luther King preached about division and inclusion by force and hangs of laws. I believe Martin Luther King was on a mission. He served and did what he needed to do for God. That's what I believe. I'm older, but okay, yes. Well, I don't know what, Malcolm X had his philosophy. I believe in the word of God. I believe in unity. I believe in love. I believe in, love for everybody. That's what I believe. According to the Bible. I don't let people put hate in my heart. Whatever religion talk about hate, I'm not for it, you guys. I'm just telling you right now. Anybody who got hate in them, you cannot tell me you love God. You can't do it. Because God is love, you guys. You can't be hating somebody because of the way they look and some of the comments that you guys make. Like, I think sometimes y'all think certain words get people going. You just expose yourself. Like, we don't have time for that. Some of you are new, and I think some of the people on this channel gotta help you guys out, because we don't blast other people on this channel, and we're not negative on this channel. Kiustebr, how are you? I'm doing well, Lucy Jakes. How are you? Somebody said Janet Jackson. This is... Hey, Monica, I need to be your moderator. Get rid of it. Matter of fact, Monica, I'm finna make you one right now. I told y'all, the devil, you guys, I'm telling y'all, you guys, I be laughing because some of y'all too old to be acting the way y'all be acting. I'm serious. You don't get saved, you're going to be in hell's fire. I got to tell the truth. SW11 Kendall, I'm reading your comments, and you seem to be the most immature person on this live. I think you're the most immature person on this live. I don't mean no disrespect, but I'm just telling the truth. You going back and forth with people. How are you? UWU, how are you? Petro, how are you? I believe that's Jesus Freak, Jesus Freak. Hey, how are you? NESIC, how are you? Ashy Allen, how are you? Mr. J, the real, said, I'll pay your bills, baby. I'm good. I appreciate the gesture, but God pay my bills. I pay my own bills. I pay my bills, y'all. Them fries are thinking. Them fries are thinking. Shut up. You guys are funny. I kid you not. Y'all be having me cracking up. Some of y'all be having me cracking up. Who is Matt? Who is Matt Bayer? This is ranch. I think I said this is ranch with lemon pepper. He said mayo and ketchup. I don't have any mayo or ketchup. This is ranch with lemon pepper, and this is barbecue sauce. Don't disrespect the fries. don't know. Who is Joe Gator? I can't nobody disrespect you when they eating the food how they like it. You looking at my channel. Third eye underscore 888. No weapon that is formed against me. Yes, Isaiah 54:17 shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. That is one of my favorite scriptures, you guys. I just turned on the vacuum. Elvis. You guys, I be praying when I see immature men. Like, that scares me. The cool guy. Thank you. You said, that is so sweet. How are you, the cool guy? Joe Gator. You guys, y'all just going back and forth. Is Katie Nolan? You still on here, Katie? Who is that? Kathy Nolan. Are you still there? Oh, I sure did. That was a mistake. I definitely did. I didn't mean to make you a moderator. I'm so sorry. Definitely not Kendall. I knew what you meant. That was a mistake. Yeah. I didn't mean to make him a moderator. That was a mistake. I've never seen him before. SW11. He said, I got ADHD. You don't have ADHD. You got a demon in you. You have a demon in you. That's what that is. I'm trying to help you out. That is a spirit. You guys already know that I'm a threat to the enemy because and it's something about the men. It's something about these men. There was a guy on my live, and I can't remember his name, but he was on my live, and I wasn't looking at the comments, and I wish I had looked at the comments because something he said, I wanted to minister to him. I wanted to minister to him. Listen, you guys, I hope you guys are having a blessed time. Let me explain this, you guys. You know, the Bible says that if you want to see good days and live a long life, it talks about how you better keep your lips from speaking evil. Keep your lips from speaking guile. Now, what I'm about to share is something that I know for a fact. You got to be careful what you sow out in the world. You know, the Bible says, be not deceived. Whatsoever man sow, that he will also reap. You got to be careful what you sow because it'll come back it'll come back and hit your house. It may hit your family. It may hit your children. You got to be careful when you're sowing evil. I'm going to tell you right now, because God do not play. God do not play, especially when you messing with one of his children. You know, sometimes people will say things and they think they, you know, the certain comments, you know, I be really feeling bad for some people that get on here because, like I said, they don't be realizing what's coming out their mouth and who they directing their comments to. You got to be really careful. You have to be careful. I'm telling you that right now. Because you speaking evil, you speaking, saying racial things and thinking that's hurting people. You're really hurting yourself. And it's scary because if you got children and you're acting like that as a parent, you're the one putting that poison in your child. You're the one putting that hate in your child. You're the one telling your child to hate black people or white people or whatever, Mexican people, Hispanic people. You're the one putting that hate, that hatred in your child's heart, and God's going to hold you accountable for that. He's going to hold you accountable for how you're raising them. He's going to hold you accountable for the things that you're saying. Well, because they ain't this color, I don't want them teaching my child, and I don't want, okay, if your child was down in the street and a person of a certain ethnicity that you don't like was doing CPR or just standing there, you'll probably be like, well, why are you standing there? Why are you standing there? Oh my God, my child need help. I don't think nobody gonna do that in the event of emergency. If they do, they crazy. You're foolish. If emergency help came or the ambulance came and all you worried about is what color they are, knowing they trained, you got a problem. You seriously have a problem. And when the devil be using people like that, you see everybody else is the problem, but you're the problem. You're the cancer. You're the poison. You're the negative seed. You're the one that's causing problems. You're the one that causes turmoil among groups. You're the one that causes turmoil among the community because you're petty. You're petty. Like you got people 30, 40, 50, you're petty. You're acting like that and you're grown. Like, what can you teach somebody? Nothing. You can teach them how to be ignorant. You can teach them how to be rude. Like, you guys, that's mind-blowing to me. The Bible says when I was a child, I spoke as a child. But when I became a man, a grown man or a grown woman, you're supposed to put away childish things. That is childish. That is foolishness to act like that. Like, it's not cute. People like that want attention or they got mental illness. It's something. It's something going on. You either want attention, you want somebody to, laugh at you? I don't know. But this is not the channel for that. We're not going to laugh at you. I'm telling you that right now. Because the devil already laughing at you. He already making a fool out of you for you doing what he wants you to do. You're doing exactly what the devil wants you to do. And you need to get saved. You need to get your head on right. God forbid, I pray to God you're not married and you're dating and you're acting like that. God help the woman that's dealing with that, you guys. Because I'm telling you, I've been seeing a lot of grown men doing stupid stuff. I'm talking men. I don't know what it is about this channel, but the men love to get on here and say the most craziest things. Like, do you tear your mama down? Do you tear your sister down? Do you tear women down? Because guess what? If you have a problem with women, that is a spirit. Somebody and did something in your past. You still got trauma. So it doesn't matter who the woman is. You got a problem. You need deliverance. And I'm trying to help you. You're on this channel, so I'm going to help you out. Since you on this channel, God directed you on this channel, I'm trying to help you out to tell you what the problem is. You a grown man with a spirit. You have a spirit when you can get on any platform or the first thing you say to anybody is something negative. Something the way they look. What about the way you look? You don't feel good about yourself. Do you know men can have low self-esteem? When you got a man with low self-esteem, he'll tear a woman down. A woman. But some of these men won't do that to another man, but they feel more empowered tearing down a woman, but you won't tear down another man because that man probably knock you out. I'm just saying. You got men like that are traumatized. They don't feel good about themselves. Maybe they upbringing with their mother wasn't the best. So you got a problem with women. You will be that kind of man that is a problem in a relationship. You will be that man that is abusive in a relationship. You will be that man that talks down to women in a relationship because you're negative. You need deliverance. I'm telling you, that is a spirit. That is a spirit when everything come out your mouth is negative. You ain't got nothing good to say. You're the one that's miserable. And you want everybody else to be miserable with you, but this not going to be that kind of party. We're not going to be miserable with you. This is a channel that uplifts. This is a channel that encourages. This is a channel that we will tell the truth. We will shut you down. Listen, you don't like it, don't be on the channel. You're not, I don't need your subscriptions. I don't need your views. Listen, this ain't the channel for you. You got a problem with a sexy black woman? Yes, I said sexy and I'm good looking. Yes, I am. If you got a problem with me, or you got a problem with what I present when I talk about the Lord, that's because you got a demon in you. This is not the channel for you. This is not the channel for you. I'm telling you right now, because you're going to hear some stuff that's going to challenge you. You're going to hear some stuff that's going to probably call out them demons in you, them principalities in you, those demonic powers that are working through you because you're yielded to the devil and you're allowing the devil to use you with your hate, with your perverse tongue, which the Bible talks about. He deals with the one with the lying, perverse tongue, the evil tongue, the one that has the tongue that has nothing good to say. This is not the channel for you. This is just not the channel for you, you guys. I'm just telling you. You got grown people back and forth on the chat that talking about one another. Like, for real? You guys, I got young people that get on this channel. That's the best you can do. You going toe-to-toe with somebody on a channel because they said something, but it's okay for you to say something negative, but once somebody check you, you got a problem with it. I have a problem with people like that. So you think you're going to say what you want on this channel, and then when people tell you about yourself, that's why I have moderators. If they cut you out, they say something, you don't like it, this is not the channel for you. That's why I have moderators, because I have immature people, grown people that do not know how to act. So that's why I have moderators. So some of you be like, well, why you ain't reading the comments? Don't she see the comments? Yeah, I see them, but I'm ignoring you because you're ignorant. Yes, I said it. Because you're of the devil, and I'm not playing with you. I don't have to read the comments if I don't want to. I can eat my food on my live if I choose to. I can do that. You don't like it? Get off. Get off the live. So a lot of you all that know me, you know if I'm talking like this, I am not playing right now. Do not get on my live. If you got a problem with it, you got a problem with the way I look, you got a problem with the way I eat. Ooh, you shouldn't do this. Why are you on YouTube? You already knew you were on a food channel. Some of y'all be sounding kind of weird, like for real. Why you eating on the live? Because it's a food channel. Everybody know what a food channel is. Some of y'all make me think something's wrong with y'all, like you offer something. Like, I'm not saying that to be mean, but that is some weird stuff. It is a food channel. We eat on the channel, and that's why you're looking. You didn't all of a sudden hit YouTube and you're shocked at somebody eating. I know you've seen somebody eat on their channel. So you guys, I will ignore you. Like some people on this chat, I will ignore you. Yes, I'm ignoring you for a reason. Because some of you say things because you want me to read it, and I'll read it and ignore you. So you think you're going to get a reaction out of me. You think you're going to tear me down or get me upset. Oh, no, not this, sister. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. I'm telling you that right now. You're not going to stop what God is doing on this channel. You're not going to stop the people that need to hear something that's going to encourage them for the week or something that they're going through. You demons, you're not going to do it, because I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and I plead the blood over this channel. I come up against every demonic force on this channel. Yes, I'm telling you right now, the blood is against you. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke every demonic principality that tries to get on this channel and say things that are not of God. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with it. Again, you are free to leave, because we don't need you on this platform. Plain and simple. We do not need you on this platform. I do not pacify demons. I do not pacify demonic spirits. I cast them out in Jesus' name. So I wanted to say that, you guys. I want to thank everybody that got on this live. I really appreciate it. All my moderators, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Some of them, listen, they haven't been on here. I'm praying for everybody. Some people that I haven't seen, I'm praying for you. I pray that you guys have a beautiful week. And I hope that I said something that has encouraged you and that will help you along your journey and even with your young people. Listen, you guys, this is your girl Sheila. I want to thank everybody that's subscribed to this channel. If you're not subscribed to this channel, listen, you're missing out on a good channel, because not only do we have delicious meals on this channel, but we have some very good, I mean some good, deep, wholesome, encouraging conversations on this channel of She Be Throwing Down. Let me say my thing. She be throwing down. She be throwing down. Yes, you guys, your girl be throwing down on this channel. So listen, until we meet again, your girl just want to say, God bless. You all have a wonderful week and take care. I love